concept very important to address for our SAVAGE program is the force spectrum. Therefore, as an introduction to this theoretical capsule, let's briefly check out the four-phase escalating to the physical force. In any potentially dangerous context, our first phase will always be to try and detect as soon as possible any sign of danger. Once this is done, once you have been aware of a potentially dangerous threat, the second phase, and therefore our new priority, will always be to try to avoid it as much as possible. However, I think we can all agree that both the detection and the avoidance are not always options that are actually under our control. Therefore, in this line of thought, our third phase will be diffusion. In any kind of physical and potentially violent conflict, using verbal tactics to try and calm down our subject is always a huge go-to. But again, like the first two phases, it's not necessarily an option available to us. You could be the best expert in verbal diffusion, but if for whatever reason the subject is not able to receive and comprehend your work, it's not going to be enough to stop the physical altercation, and you will need to take one step forward. Therefore, our fourth and last phase of our force spectrum would be the physical defense. Here, in my humble opinion, I think the most important element in this category is the idea of responsibility, because it is so easy for anyone in such context to pass from the status of victim to the status of aggressor in the name of law. And my next word might offend some of you, but you need to understand that lethal force does not necessarily mean irresponsible force. Of course, you need to keep in mind the idea of reasonability when you're doing such evaluation. Someone who is being physically abused must also take a decision and make choices within the same kind of circumstances. Alright guys, so to conclude this introduction to our theoretical material, I will invite you to do a little homework for me. The only thing I will ask you is to draw a scale, and within that scale to focus on our four phases of physical defense. And then, next to all these subjects, just point out, write down a few things that you already know by yourself about these four phases. I just want you to search within yourself. Don't go take outside information, because within the next few minutes of our capsule, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna check out all these subjects into a much deeper level. So try this out for me, guys.